My name is Adam Brozowski. This is Swinging at the Savoy 2019. What was... Chester said we're supposed to play the 20th Century Fox song.
Let's do it right. Let's do this right.
I don't remember how it goes.
Just do this right. We're going to open this up. Ready?
Okay.
No, you're going to be the thing. Stay there. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
And then we open up. Norma Miller, ladies and gentlemen. The Queen of Swing. Okay. I've learned that if Chester asks you to do something, you should just say yes. Well, this is a little bit different than last year. I don't have any videos to show you. One of the first times that I met Ms. Miller was in Thousand Oaks, California, at an event called Jitterbug Jam, and they used to have this thing that was called Story Time with Norma. And basically, that's just, we give you a microphone and we just let you tell us stuff that we need to know. Right? So I just thought it would be nice this year to do a very pure version of Norma. Of course, with all of the luxurious, additional, wonderful experiences that Mr. Chester Whitmore brings to the table, lest we forget Mr. Chester Whitmore, who's here with us. But I have no dance legend I am but a conduit for good information. So I don't know. Norma, how did you start dancing? How about we start with that?
Well, what version do you want?
The most interesting one.
Well, I never actually learned how to dance. I just did it. I mean, I came up in an age where a lot of things was beginning. And when you're a kid, you absorb things very fast. Music was my love. I came up, me and jazz, I think, came out into the world together. So I was always part of jazz. So being part of it, in those days, I was my mother's entertainer. My mother was, I was born, my father died the month before I was born, and I was born in December. And my mother was left without a husband, 2 children, and didn't have a clue how was she going to make a living because she had no skills. And I was a kid who was able to adopt to dancing. I mean, it was just, I was always around a lot of dancing, so I never had to learn anything. We just did it. So my mother realized I could dance. All she was concerned about, I was going to be one person that she didn't have to worry about how she was going to eat. So my mother used to throw me out on the stage, just because she knew I could dance. And that's how house rent parties began. I used to entertain her friends because my mother used to have house rent parties so that she could pay the rent. And I was the entertainer. And that was how it started. I never learned how to dance. I just heard music. And that was the beginning.
But you had an interesting experience, I remember, when you first had the opportunity to Lindy Hop, which someone with an interesting name kind of just pulled you into it, let's say. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Well, go ahead.
Sounds good. Something to do with Twist Mouth George.
Oh, well, that was a Sunday afternoon. I lived in Harlem. I lived in back of the Savoy Ballroom. Like, our fire escape was there, and right across was the Savoy. So every night, I could sit out on the fire escape and watch what they did at the Savoy Ballroom. And when you're a kid, you learn how to copy everything. Didn't you do that?
Yeah, I wanted to be like that.
But anyway, living in back of the Savoy, Sunday afternoon is Easter Sunday. Now in Harlem, people are taking off the heavy coats, getting dressed up, first place they're going to go is go to the Savoy Ballroom. It was almost like an Easter parade. So as a kid, I ran up to be on the sideline so I can watch the people go into the ballroom. And the music came on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And like all kids, you go board around and everything, and somebody called me. The great Twist by George called me to go up to the ballroom and dance with him. And I was 12 years old. And that was my first entrance into the Savoy Ballroom, dancing. But at that time, the greatest dancer in Harlem. And I could dance with him, and I outswung him too. Oh, yeah, yes, I did. Oh, yeah, shit. And I was 12 years old. Shit, I was a genius.
Now, okay. Chester, I want to ask you the same question, but just to riff off of this for a second, Norma, then I understood that you later were in a contest, which so this is in the time of when Whitey's Lindy Hoppers had his dancers, and you had entered a contest at a young age, and I think you had beat out some of his dancers. Is that true?
Yeah.
And then he sent some guys. I heard that he sent some guys to your house.
Oh, he came himself.
Okay, can we?
He sent somebody. He came with 2 goons.
So tell us about that, because I think that's pretty
Well, here's
interesting.
what happened. The Savoy, Apollo Theater was a weekly job, and on Thursday night, the receipts was off. You know, because it was the end of the week. That it wasn't a big audience. They were trying to find a way. How could they stimulate people coming to the Apollo Theater on Thursday night? So now the Lindy Hop is the hottest dance in America at the time. So they decided, why don't we put on a contest on Thursday night featuring the Lindy Hop, and that'd get people to come in. Now, you signed up for this contest. Now, my partner, Sonny Ashby, and I were dancers at the Renaissance Ballroom. So we had a friend say, look, why don't you and Sonny sign up for the contest?
The Renaissance was where younger dancers.
Where the younger dancers danced.
Frankie danced there too.
Yeah, that's where me and Frankie met.
Right.
So we did the contest. We're 12-year-olds, and we're up against standard dancers. But when you're 12 and you can dance, they didn't have a prayer. We outshine none of them. We won. And see, when you win, you get the little $25, 10 for you, 10 for you, and 5 for the manager.
But then
And the
Whitey was pissed though, because he's supposed to have the best
exactly.
dancers in Harlem at the time.
So a knock came on my door 8 o'clock the next morning. I'm going to school, and I open the door, and there was this man standing with 2 goons. I mean, like this. I'm Whitey, and I saw you dance last night. I would rather you dance with us than against us. Would you like to come to the Savoy? And that's how I got to the Savoy.
Wow. Okay, well, I don't know how you're going to follow that, Chester, but how did you... For those of us who don't know, Chester, how did you get into Lindy? When did you start? How did it all start for you?
Accident. The dancing was not my thing. I was not a dancer. I'm a
Fly fishing?
Yeah, I tried that too. Basket weaving, but no, I did. I'm a filmmaker. I was making films. When I first saw Lindy, I was doing research, a documentary on film on vernacular jazz dance. Now, I always liked that, the older movies like Astaire, Bill Robinson, those type of movies. And I said, if I wanted to dance, that's the style of dancing I wanted to do. And then we did a documentary at our film class, and we had the Philadelphia Ballet Company. And I was in there watching these guys do the turns, and I said, that looks pretty interesting. The guy said, have you ever tried to dance? And I said, nah, I don't look good in those leotards and stuff like that. So I said, okay, well, I did some movements. You should try to look it up. I said, the style of dancing I like to do is this. He said, we don't teach that. That's died out. So I kept on going around looking for different elements of that style of dance. I even looked for great tap schools, and they had the watered down versions of the tap schools, and I said, okay, well, I'll just take this style of dancing, and I got up there, and this is what I learned. I said, ding, 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 ding. Okay, so I said, okay. So my friend said, hey, I got an idea. There's this guy at the Inner City Culture Center, great place. They had minority actors every day, Sidney Poitier, B. Richards, when everybody was there. And there was this guy teaching tap there. I said, okay, I'll go. I'm going to meet this guy. Rode my bicycle up there and had my little tap shoes, and I missed him about 5 minutes, and he drove off. So I'm driving down, and there's this guy on the corner of Pico Boulevard changing the tire, nobody's helping him. He's like, zoom, zoom, cars are going by. I said, man, let me help this guy. He's just having a difficult time. So I parked my bike. I said, let me take this. And I'm good to getting the tire off. And he looked at my bicycle. We had those bicycles with the banana, seats, and he looks and he sees the tap shoes hanging, and he says, oh, you're a hoofer. I said, what? You're a hoofer. I thought he said I was a hooker, but anyhow, I said, well, no. He said, hoofer means dancer. I said, oh, really? He said, I dance too. I'm a tap dancer too. I said, I'm like, yeah, this guy's telling me all kinds of stuff. Let me get this tire on and get him on his way. He gave me his card. I'm looking at it, okay, I'm like, yeah, we're fine. So 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I'm getting frustrated trying to find out these different dances. And my mother said, you know what you should do? You should take this man's offer up. I said, oh, you really think so? Yeah, just take him up. You never know. So I went over his house, knocked on the door, and he said, oh, you made it. You ready for the first lessons? I said, yeah, sure. And he walked in the living room. He pulled the rug out. He said, okay, now show me what you got. I said, get out the way. I'm dangerous. So I got up there. I beat that. He looked at me like, he said, interesting. He said, try this. And he got up and hands is going, I said, whoa. Mine doesn't look like yours. And he said, if you want to learn this, you got to want it and go for it. We became friends for over 2 years and a half. He gave me my first job. We would dance every Wednesday, 7.5 hours, and he would disappear, and I would take over the class. I didn't understand why he would disappear, but that just gave me a name around town that I was teaching. Meanwhile, you got to realize this is in the 60s to 70s going in, and you don't see much Afro-Americans, and not a lot of Afro-American musicals at the time. You seen Gene Kelly and a lot of stuff like that. Late one night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm turning on the set, and I'm seeing, wow, it's a black cast. They all can sing. They all can dance. I say, oh, that's that Heidi Heidi Ho guy. Oh, that's the guy that dancing with Shirley Temple. Oh, I'm seeing all these great music. And at the end of the movie, these 2 guys come flying down the steps, kapow, doing splits, kapow, kaboom, kabam. I'm like, whoa. And then the next morning I said, hey, did you guys see that movie last night? It was good. What's that? There were black people doing this dance and stuff. Man, there ain't no black people on TV. What's wrong with you? I said, no, I seen black people. But they didn't believe me. So I go back to take another lesson, and he said, what's wrong? I said, man, nobody believed me. I must have dreamed this. I seen these guys dancing, and at the end of these 2 guys flipping down the steps. He said, oh, really? Yeah. And he goes in the back, and he pulls out these 8x10 photographs and look at, were these the guys? I said, oh, yeah, there's the Heidi Heidi Ho guy. And then I looked, oh, that's you. And it was Fayard Nicholas of the Nicholas Brothers.
Incredible.
And that got me started because he started getting me my first job. I got a chance to meet all his friends. I should have known better because in the classes, you had people who take these lessons, and I would look at these people. I said, these are all your friends? Yeah, all your friends can dance. You know, I mean, these are the people that came to class. I didn't even know. We had Eleanor Powell. We had, what's the guy that played It Takes a Thief? Robert Wagner. I mean, we had Warren Berry of the Berry Brothers. Wow. And then we had Esmond Mosby of the Three Chocolatiers. I learned eccentric and comedy dances from him. U.S. Thompson taught us the acrobatics. Clarence Landry of the Hi-Hatters. I got a chance to work with him, and it was a numerous of different variety of dancers, and seeing the different styles of that. And I got a chance firsthand to see vernacular jazz in its peer right there. And then when I got a chance to dance, I had my first company. It was a five-member group. We thought we was something. We would go around tapping and doing stuff. And my mom said, if you got all this stuff, what are you going to do with it? I was thinking, oh, that's right. And so I created the company, and from there we got contracted. I had the first one, Louis Belson picked me up, and I toured the world. And then I had the first vernacular company that toured the world for 15 years, 27 times around the world. It was called the Black Ballet Jazz.
Wow, incredible. Well, you're making me think about some things. So, is there someone on the? Can we take the top out of the mics? Because we're getting a. Is there anybody doing that?
What do you mean the top side of the mics?
The high needs to be brought down a little bit. Okay. Well, anyway, so Norma, you also I know that you did it. Speaking of shows and all-black cast, you did a show on Broadway briefly that was called The Hot Mikado.
Well, that was Bill Robinson's.
That was Bill Robinson's show.
Right. I didn't do the Broadway show. They brought the Hot Mikado to the World's Fair.
Oh, that's right. 39
And it was the
Fair.
first a legitimate show. Mike Todd brought it to the World's Fair, and it was then those of us, we were at the Lindy Hop, the Savoy Ballroom at that time. So they were using us, the Lindy Hoppers, from that for the singing in Hot Mikado, Three Little Maids. And that was the Lindy Hop scene in the Hot Mikado. And that was the company I was in that came to the World's Fair. So I didn't do the Broadway show. I did the one at the World's Fair. Yeah, I did Swingin. Now, when they did the Hot Mikado, it was so successful. That's when they decided to swing the classics. Now they're going to swing Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, so right.
And they're going to call it Swingin' the Dream.
Oh, that's what.
Which was going to be the biggest Broadway show ever to come to it was at the Center Theater, which is, is the small replica of Radio City. So we're opening there. This was going to be the biggest thing you ever saw. I mean, this week we're going to run forever. We died the death of a dog. Because it was every black star was in this, it was in Swingin' the Dream. Everyone. I mean, look, starring Benny Goodman and Louis Armstrong. And they killed us another time. I got killed. Oh, I've been killed so many damn times.
And you, Norma, you had an interesting experience because well, first of all, the first time you went on tour, you lied about your age. Is that true?
Well,
and then the
that's
police
my
came
introduction to Leonard Reed.
I don't mean to call you out, but
I used to go on Saturday. I used to go to all the rehearsal halls. Just looking. I just wanted to get in the show business. And he had a group of chorus girls that danced like me. And they looked like me. They're 16 and 17-year-old. And I used to follow them around and to their rehearsals. So I'm at their rehearsal, peeping in the door like this, and something happened, and Leonard Reed comes storming out. Wham! And he looked at me and said, "Can you dance?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Get in there and learn that routine." I already knew it. I was copying everything. And so they get ready to go to Glen Falls, New York. And the bus pulled out. I never asked nobody. I just got on the bus with the rest. I played hooky from school. And the cops came after me. And I'm running and hiding, and they caught me. And that's when Leonard Reed found out I was 14 years old. That was my introduction to Leonard Reed.
You were entrepreneurial, let's say. Can you, for those of us who don't know, can you just tell us a little bit about who Leonard Reed was?
Well, he was a black guy that looked like a white guy. He could pass. Now, he'd go someplace and you wouldn't know he was black. And he was the most influential black dancer among black chorus girls, because he could dance and his dancers could dance. But in those days, you were limited. If you're in black show business, you can only go but so far. And that was the show that Leonard Reed took me out on the road with. But we were friends right up to the last of his life. We were wonderful friends. But my whole deal with starting on stage, I give the credit to Leonard Reed, because he made me the type of a dancer that I became. And I could survive. See, a dancer got to survive. There's nothing for a dancer. Boy, we got the worst profession in the world. And you learn, being a dancer, at the time when we were the Lindy Hoppers, we rode up to the peak, to the place now we're making movies. Top act in the world. Booked in the Rio de Janeiro, Casino.org, the greatest casino in the world. We opened on the 5th, and on the 6th, we walking down the street, Pearl Harbor. Killed us opening Pearl Harbor. God damn the war. And that killed us for that whole period, because they drafted all of our guys.
Right. So that I always think that that's really interesting. It's something I find to be really inspiring about you, is that, so we have Whitey's Lindy Hoppers. Day at the Races was 1937, and then Hell's a Poppin' was filmed in 1941. So, you guys were at the top of your career, traveling over the world.
That's right.
With this art form that you created, you completely influenced, and then suddenly it's just gone overnight.
Exactly.
And all of the guys were drafted into the Army.
What the Army didn't draft, Glenn Miller draft, because he had the best band traveling. He took all the top musicians. So you had, what was left in the country was second best. And that was why I decided I wasn't going to Lindy Hop no more. I was going to form my own company, and I formed the Norma Miller Dancers, and that's how I got Chaz.
Which is Frankie's
Frankie
son.
Manning's son, yeah.
But I just think it's so inspirational that at that time, you, as a female dancer in the group, all the other female dancers in Whitey's Lindy Hoppers, they didn't stay in show business as dancers.
I don't know, they disappeared.
But you kind of fought through all of that. You had the Norma Miller dancers.
I had no
Norma
choice.
and the Jazzmen.
Ah, damn, I had no choice, you bastards.
And it's my understanding that you're really not doing anything right now. You're really taking it easy, like, touring around the world with your own band
I'm 99.
in Italy.
What do you expect me to do? I'm lucky to be sitting up here.
Okay, sometimes when I call Norma, sometimes I call Norma on the phone,
Okay.
and I say, "Hi Norma, how are you?" And she goes, "Well, I woke up." But really, I have to say, was it like a year ago that we were in Milan together, and I got to see firsthand. For those of you who don't know, there's a band in Italy who has adopted Norma, let's say, and has taken all of her songs and fully orchestrated it and realized them. And she tours around Europe
with the
With
greatest
the-
swing band in the world.
But can I just say, it's not just about the band.
Yeah, okay.
You sing the whole set.
Yeah, well-
like it's not just like the band and then Norma sits over here.
Yeah.
She sings and gets up and dances
No,
for the
I get
whole
up in-
show.
Well, I'll give you an example. I use these songs, I write, but I only sing my songs, so nobody can complain about nothing. And I got a wonderful orchestra that arranged my songs and played my songs. We did a number I want to show you. I wrote this originally for Hillary, for the Democratic Convention. And at the time, Me Too was coming in and, you know, the power of women, so I wrote this. I'm a new woman today. Just want to say one thing. If it don't swing, it just don't mean a thing. I'm a new woman today. Change has been made. My dues have been paid. Now I've got it made. I don't bow my head, don't shuffle my feet. Some folks say that I got a mean streak. Well, if you want to light my fire, call me.
Fire.
I'm a new woman today, and I'm on my way with some jazz in my walk, sass in my talk. I've come a long, long way. I've been segregated, discriminated, liberated, now liberated. I'm a new woman today.
Pretty good.
And that's how the career started in Italy. They arranged my songs. I've just got a great band, and we love touring, and I tour all through the summer months in Europe. I'm touring in Italy with the band. That's what I do now, yeah.
I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. We flew to Australia together, and Norma got off the plane. I was exhausted, and she was like, "Where are we going? Where are we eating?" I was just like, I can't even.
That's a long trip. Have you ever flown to Australia? My God, I didn't know you could be up in a plane that long. Oh,
What do you
it's
think?
wonderful.
What is I mean, do you have a secret, Norma? What is the secret to such a long and happy and successful and productive? How do you keep on keeping on the way you do? What do you do?
I fight poverty. Because you have to. If you can't one job, you got to look for another job. So I continually, when the dancing years slimmed down, I began writing about the dancing years. Then I formed my own companies and I produced dancing. And then every year we go to Harang. And Chester is there in Harang the same time that I'm in Harang. Now there's a place where artists can sort of develop what the things they do. Chester does things in Harang that's unreal. He began producing. I said, damn. I mean, he has the dancers. You got singers. It's Mecca. If you want to know about dancing, you go to Harang. And he's one of those instructors there. And he's wonderful. And that's our connection. Every year we do something in Harang together. And we're hoping to aim to produce a show to bring to Broadway with his talent. And of course, my songs. Okay.
What, and this is for both of you, for the new generation, and by new I mean anybody who started in the last 30 30 years since the swing revival. You know, what can you say? We were talking about this in class a little bit about what is sort of the most important thing about these dances and this music that you can tell someone who's young and aspiring to dance now and to become for example, to become a great Lindy Hopper. What advice would you give to that person?
Well, first you have to have a love of dance. The Lindy Hop is an individual dance. It was the only original dance that was created in America. Remember, everything we did in America was imported because we were considered a raw talent. We didn't have a culture. But where we came from, this little center place here, created music and dance. Out of that came Ella Fitzgerald, Chick Webb, Count Basie, Billie Holiday. This was the era that we were, and the Lindy Hop came out of this wonderful atmosphere with the greatest music. With the Count Basie's band, we broke every racial barrier around America because we were the first black show to play Las Vegas. We were the first black, we were a power. And we broke every kind of racial barrier. I came to Miami Beach, the height of segregation. We opened in Miami Beach at the, what was the name of the club? The Cotton Club, with the great Cab Calloway. See, we broke every barrier. And that's why today we are living where I can sit there with you and everything else, and you can't do nothing to us because we were the best. And that's what we fought for. We fought because we were the best. And that's all you need. You take it and you do it. And that's what we did. Of course, we died with Swingin' a Dream, but what the hell. Okay.
Is there something that you wish you saw more of today, either in the music that we dance to or in the way that we dance? Is there something that you wish you saw more of, that something you want to see? Let's say 10, 20 years from now, where can we take Lindy Hop? Where do you want to see it?
You don't have to take it nowhere. It's around the world. Around the world. I wrote something and I said, from Lindy Hop to hip hop and every hop in between. They're swinging all around the world. It's a crazy scene. They're swinging in Italy, and then I go swinging in Germany, and it's a big production where dancers from these different countries come out and dance, and that's one of the finales that Chester will be choreographing. Like today, Chester and Adam were putting together a dance routine to a lyric that I write, a song I call I Dig Swing. And now this is in the workings. And we've decided that's what you will work on today, right? Now just get up there on the stage.
Oh, no, it's not ready. It's not ready.
I know you're not ready, just get up here. I'll sing the lyric.
I don't remember how it goes.
Join the club.
Club? I don't remember how it.
Now this is what we began putting together today. One, two,
what's this to do
ready,
now?
go. I dig swing, cause it turns me on with the kind of beat that keeps on keeping on and on. It's got that beat. I dig swing, cause it turns me round from my head to my feet. It's got that beat. Come dance with me.
I don't know.
Let's massage
Go,
the
Chester.
floor. Turn me out, turn me on. Who could ask for anything more? It's that thing called swing. Makes me do my thing. Cause I've got
this.
what's good for you. You've got what's basically cause I dig Swing.
You know, I just have to
And
say.
that's what you can do when you got wonderful dancers. You begin putting that together. See, I live in Florida. He lives in California. He lives in Seattle. And we have to put stuff together when we meet once a year. But this is our love. This is what we enjoy. Now, this is what we just did this afternoon. So you can see the fun we have. Oh, yes, of course, of course.
We did. And with another 20 rehearsals, we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, on that note, why don't we open it up for some questions? If we have, I don't know what time, is someone monitoring the time? What time is this supposed to be over? 10 minutes? Well, that's a perfect time for questions then. And if your questions are about me remembering the choreography, the answer is no. Okay. Does anybody have a question? Norma, you have a marriage proposal. Yes.
Who is it?
In the back.
He's right there. Are you? Let me see that hat. Let me see the hat. Okay, you're gonna need a prenup. Okay. I'm just kidding. That was good. That was very good. All right. Anything? I'm just giving you a hard time. That was wonderful. Anybody else have questions? Yes?
When was the last time I worked with you? Yeah, you. Remember when? And since then, you have had 2 sons. What is it, 14? 14. The last time I worked with her, she has 2 sons. The one was 14 years old. Where has the time gone?
Crazy.
How wonderful. Oh, and it's just so beautiful. Life is, listen, this generation have produced for me the finest moments I've had in life. How much time I have left, I don't even think about that. I enjoy the fact that I can sit amongst you and just look at your faces and realize we relate. We have a love for each other because we have that one thing that we love most of all. We love the dance, and we produce the dance, and you join me. That's the greatest feeling in the world. All I live now from day to day and hope I'm trying to reach 100 December the 2nd.
I think you're gonna make it. I'm quite confident you're gonna make it. Yes.
I was wondering, were you present in New York, and when Jack Teagarden made his debut from West Texas with his brother, or when Count Basie came to Kansas City?
I was introduced to Jack Teagarden with Louis Armstrong. When him and Louis Armstrong used to duets together. And of course, I'm a devotee of Louis Armstrong. But I never met him as when they did their bands. The bands that I worked with was the one that came to the Savoy Ballroom. And Chick Webb was the house band. We had Bunny Berrigan, we had Jimmy Lunsford, but it was Benny Goodman who came to the ballroom to play opposite. Chick Webb was one of the greatest nights in the history of
Battle
bands.
of the Bands.
That's right. And then, of course, out of that came Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. We had the greatest entree in music, and we were all part of that era. But it's so wonderful. Today you can buy it on digital. The music sounds better than when we had it originally. Right?
Well, I just wanted to mention that. We said this in class today. One of the greatest things you ever told me was I asked Norma where, like when they would practice, like when we practice dancing, we have like a speaker and an iPhone or whatever. And I said, Norma, how did you guys practice? What music did you use? And she said, well, we went up to the ballroom during the day and we practiced to Chick Webb. So maybe if you're feeling bad about your dancing, that might be the difference. It's hard to top that.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. We were rich in camaraderie. We loved being together. So all day long, the place was open for our practice and bands. So we were there all day. Leave to go home to have dinner and come back and swing with the band at night.
All day, all night.
Oh, yeah.
What else? Other questions? Yeah.
A year ago, Norma, you were telling us about your plans for your 100th birthday party. What's the latest on that?
Well, see, we're going to have the party in Fort Myers. But on the December the 2nd, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. with Tina Morales, because they're going to pay me a lot of money to come up there on December
No,
2nd.
no-
Because I don't go into no winter.
Well, wait a minute.
And then I come back.
You mean for the International Indie Hop Championships?
No,
Or you're going to go again after? The International Championships is in
It's-
November this year.
are you part of that? The Lindy Hop Championship.
They moved it to November. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll
But
discuss.
I'll be spending most of my 100th birthday, I'll be in Florida in the sunshine. I think of coming, we have a party on the beach. So that's going to be my final, after that I'm sort of dwindling down. And I won't be doing a lot of traveling, but I spend the summer months always in Italy with my wonderful Italians, yeah.
Are you, can you say anything in Italian? Sono
Buono,
buonasera.
buonasera.
There you go. That's all you need.
Give me the word for the
Oh,
other one. Go ahead.
sono
Sono,
felice
sono felice
di essere qui.
di essere qui.
That means I'm happy to be here.
Buonanotte.
What else? Anybody? What about in the back? Does anybody have a question for Norma Chester?
Because we're leaving. Yo, go ahead. The Billy Brothers. But, Mauricio is the Cab Calloway of Italy. I mean, he's the stylish.
Where
Billy.
can they find the music? Or is it selling online? Is it on
Well,
iTunes?
where's my,
You get stuff over here. You don't have your albums though.
no, but where's my bag?
I don't know.
The bag. Underneath the bag got all the stuff.
Okay,
Huh?
it's over there.
Renata?
It's on the table.
Yeah,
With the DVDs.
yeah. Look under the bag.
I don't see any CDs.
Isn't
though.
there a white bag under the coat?
Okay, they got it. They got it.
Okay, open the bottom, and there's a CD. There's a CD on the bottom. What is it,
Okay.
a CD?
I feel like it's probably on CD Baby or
It's
iTunes.
Isn't there something in there? Yeah, that's
There
a
you
CD.
go. This
So
is it.
you're going to be able to get these with the book. This is my first CD that was in Italy, and we'll be selling these.
Somewhere.
When we reach-
We'll make sure to post on the Swingin' at the Savoy website where you
Okay.
can find the album.
Okay.
Anything else?
You mean
No.
y'all don't have nothing to say? Well,
Well,
well.
Does everybody know that
Go ahead.
this gentleman teaches at the City College in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
then a Wednesday night gig every Wednesday at UCLA when we're down in the LA area?
Chester.
That's at USCC.
Tell us more about your gigs in the LA area.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Where can we find you, Chester, if we want to take class from you?
Oh, you want to take that?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, you can go to Tuesday, Thursday, LA City College. Wednesday, you do musical composing with big band with Kenny Burrell at UCLA. At the same time, Wednesday night, we do an all authentic blues night at the Townhouse in Culver City. We have different, and during the week, we have you heard of the Cicada Club? They have different bands at the Cicada Club on each night, traditional different bands. And
It's real old-fashioned nightclub type of thing, and it's real fabulous because it sort of take you back in
6
time.
and Olive.
Hello, okay.
1938 building. Art Deco style. Everybody. It's in LA.
Yeah.
Everybody dressed up killed. Tuxedos,
Real nice.
gowns, the whole shebang.
Wonderful.
Cigar girls, cigarettes.
And I think we can find both of you on the regular social medias and Facebooks and Instagrams and all of those things. We want to keep up with.
Somebody keeps putting me on something, but y'all got,
And she was.
this is another era, believe me. That was, what is it, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Sweetie, y'all have living your life like robots. I walk into the airplane and everybody's like this. I walk amongst, I say, hey! And everybody looked up and said, you got faces.
Did you? We try to discourage people from having phones in class. That's for
I
sure.
don't blame you because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I remember we were in Australia and Norma told me, she said, Adam, I understand what tweeting is, but what is twerking? Anyway, I think we have to wrap up. So thank you so much for coming to this talk. Thank you, Norma. Thank you, Chester. Give them a round of applause one more time. Delighted to have you. Thank you. Wonderful. I think the band starts right now, so if you guys walk right over there.
Dig the beat. Hey, everything in life got a beat. When you walk down the street, your feet tap to a beat. And when you speak with a beat. Get on down, get way, way down. 'Cause the one good thing about being down ain't a place to go but up. Ain't gonna let nothing get me down. Gonna pick myself right up and keep on keeping to the beat. Ready, go. Ho, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. Ship, sham, da-da-da-da. Do-wah, 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 do-wah. It don't mean a thing. All you got to do is swing, boy. Do-wah, 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 do-wah. And it makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just give that rhythm everything you've got. 'Cause it don't mean a thing if it ain't walk it now. Go. Do-wah, 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 ho. Do-wah, 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 ho. Do-wah, 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 ho.